Hello, everyone. This is the most intelligent and magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm back at it with another character review. This time, it's going to be on Gold Mythic Mateo. And before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing okay, and I'm staying safe for the most part. And I don't think we should waste any more time, because after this character review on Mateo, I will have one more for the Outlanders Allegiance, and that'll be Preach. I wish they would have called him Preacher, because I might accidentally call him Peach by accident. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. I don't think we should waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump into this character review, shall we? Mateo, Outlanders. His trait is tough. His role is support. And his allegiance is a member of the Outlanders. Now let's take a look at his stats. His attack stat is 17,700. His defense is also 17,700. And his HP is 15,171. Now let's take a look at his adrenaline rush. Fancy shots. The recharge rate is 66 AP. Pretty fast. Pretty much the standard for most gold mythics. Deal 500% damage to 3 enemies. Those enemies get minus 20 AP. Not a really good adrenaline rush, but not a really bad adrenaline rush either. It's pretty simple. Nothing too crazy or fancy about this adrenaline rush at all. It's a pretty simple, straightforward adrenaline rush. You're doing a nice amount of damage to 3 enemies, plus those enemies are getting minus 20 AP. Not bad at all. Nothing too crazy, but it's not too bad. I've seen better adrenaline rushes and I've seen worse, so it's nothing too fancy. It's pretty straightforward. Not too bad at all. Now let's take a look at his signature move. Traumatic Technique. The initial cooldown is turn 1. Number of cooldowns 2 turns. Number of uses unlimited. Attack 2 enemies for 300% damage each. Those enemies get 5,000 trauma for 2 turns. You know, I have to say, this is a rare occasion where the signature move actually might be better than the adrenaline rush. And in this case, I actually do think the signature move is a lot better than the adrenaline rush. The adrenaline rush isn't bad, but I believe with this signature move, if you are to put a double attack rampage weapon into Mateo's hands, if you went that route, I believe that 300% damage is going to proc, and you can do even more damage than what the signature move is already presenting itself. Plus, those enemies are going to get 5,000 trauma for 2 turns. And I believe trauma has something to do with, I don't know, say if you have bleed or burn on you and you cleanse the bleed and burn with the trauma, you'll take that damage thanks to the trauma. I believe that's how trauma works. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've went over anything with trauma. But yeah, in this rare occasion, I actually think the signature move is a lot better than the Adrenaline Rush itself, which is really rare, because you can take advantage of a double attack crit rampage weapon with the signature move. I don't think it's going to work on the Adrenaline Rush, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I would say that signature move is better than the Adrenaline Rush. Now let's take a look at Mateo's Mythic Abilities. Cunning. When attacking or being attacked, 30% less likely to trigger enemy weapon effects and walker effects. Not really going to go into this too much. Cunning, if you level it up all the way, it's going to do what it's supposed to do, and it's going to work. That's all I really need to say about it. Crowd Charmer. When this character neutralizes an enemy, 100% chance to remove all positive effects from that enemy. Okay, this is actually kind of interesting. When I first saw this, I thought this was really bad. But here's the thing. If you apply trauma to that enemy first, and then you neutralize that enemy, that's actually going to be really good, because that's going to do damage to them, possibly taking them out. So yeah, that's actually going to be pretty good. If you're planning on using Mateo, Crowd Charmer is one I would definitely think about leveling up, because, you know, if you apply that Neutralize if they get neutralized and they have the trauma on them, that's going to do damage to them. So that's going to be really good. I thought it was really bad at first. After thinking about it, it's actually pretty good. A true showman. This character gets 150% attack when rushing or attacking impaired enemies. Again, this is going to be pretty good, because obviously his specialist skill is Neutralize. We will get into that, but when someone is about to use their rush and you neutralize them, that's going to impair them, and that's where that 150% attack is going to come into play. And also when he's rushing, that 150% attack is also going to come into play as well, which is going to be really nice. So, like I said, if you are planning on using Mateo in a Outlanders team, perhaps, you know, all of these mythic abilities so far are going to be really good to use. Carnival Training. When this character neutralizes an enemy, 60% chance another enemy gets impaired for 2 turns. Again, this particular mythic ability is playing into his specialist skill, and if you neutralize an enemy, you have a more than half of a chance, more than a 50% chance, exactly a 60% chance to to impair another enemy, which that's going to be really good. I mean, impair is not really something a lot of people are have impair resist on certain tunes right now, so it's actually going to be really good if you are planning on using Mateo. So yeah, Cunning, Crowd Charmer, a true showman, all of his mythic abilities are pretty good if you are definitely planning on using Mateo for sure. Now let's take a look at his specialist skill, Neutralize. when this character attacks a human target that has 80% or more adrenaline rush, that target will be impaired for 1 turn. Impaired characters cannot gain AP or use adrenaline rushes. So, don't really need to go into what Neutralize does. You guys already know. So, it's pretty good. You just have to rely on the enemies getting ready to rush. And that'll work. And especially with some of his mythic abilities, that Neutralize is going to come into play very well, in my opinion. Now, let's take a look at... Well, he has a default weapon, so you can pretty much put whatever you want into his hands. And I believe there's a Mateo shotgun right now in the Carnivals of Corpses event that you can get, which that would probably work very well for Mateo. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm pretty sure with his kit, that would actually go very well on Mateo. So yeah, I mean, if I was to use him, I would probably put either a double attack rampage weapon, I guess, or scratch that actually. If I was to go for the Mateo shotgun in the current event, that would honestly be the best weapon to put into his hands, because me personally, I'm not speaking for everyone, I just don't think Mateo is that amazing. I mean, he's not that bad either. He's on the lower tier of decent. Me personally, I think Mateo is the worst toon in the Outlander's Allegiance. That doesn't mean he's a horrible toon. He isn't doing a whole lot that's special like the other toons in this Allegiance so far. That's just personally how I feel. I could see a lot of people saying that the Scotsman is the worst toon in this Allegiance, and I could definitely see why people would definitely say that. I disagree. I think Mateo's actually the worst one in the Allegiance. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think is the worst toon in the Outlander's Allegiance? Either Mateo or Scotsman. Personally, I think it's Mateo. That doesn't mean he's a bad toon. He's an okay toon. I will say, I think he's a better toon than Molly, because you can take advantage of his Neutralize in a couple of ways with his mythic abilities. I will give Mateo that. I do think he's better than Gold Mythic Molly, because you can definitely take advantage of his Neutralize. And, Molly, like I said, Molly isn't bad. She's just very disappointing because she doesn't heal. At least with Mateo, you have a couple of ways to impair enemies. Not with just his specialist skill, but there's... How many of the mythic abilities? Is it 1 or 2? Okay, so it's about 1 or 2 of his mythic abilities that work with the Neutralize. So yeah, I will give Mateo that. I think he's better than Molly, but me personally, I think he's the worst toon in this current Allegiance, but that doesn't make him a bad toon. Some people will say Scotsman. I'm saying Mateo is the worst one. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say on that matter. But, yeah, I mean, I do like his look. He's got a very similar look to the S-Class version, except he doesn't have a shirt on in the Mythic era, which is, hey, nothing wrong with that. He does look cool, but he doesn't do a lot of things that are special in his kit. The Neutralize is nice, that's what I'm saying. He's not... Just because I think he's the worst toon in this Allegiance does not mean he's a bad toon. there's way worse tunes out there than Mateo, for sure. And I don't think I have much else left to say. My next character review will be on Gold Mythic Preach. I wish they would have just called him Preacher instead of Preach, because I can hear me now accidentally slipping up and calling him Peach by accident. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this one. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.